I think we are live in Local Warrior. Let me double check here. I'm going to look at, yep, I've got it here under the post. So people can actually just, in our group, they can just see the post and they can watch us live. Currently, they don't actually have to be in the webinar
Awesome.
meeting. We are good to go. Everybody from the Local Warrior group, thank you for tuning in. We have an incredible person on our books today to present to you guys. His name is John Logar. John, thanks for coming in, man.
Hey man, thanks for having me. It's 4 a.m. on the Australian Eastern Standard Time right now. So I don't know. I think it's 1 o'clock where you are, but it is 4 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning for you guys, but Tuesday for me.
Yeah, we definitely thank you
Let me
for
tell you, I'm in the
waking
future.
up
I'm in the
early.
future. Yeah, I can tell you the weather's going to be pretty good tomorrow. So
Perfect. You're in Dallas?
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Guys,
Absolutely.
everybody, if you don't know John Logar, he runs Consulting Unleashed. There's a few other programs that he runs, but consults hundreds of businesses across the world. To my understanding, you're not just in Australia, not just in the US, you are worldwide.
Absolutely. Over 140 clients in over 50 different countries.
Wow. That's impressive. That is very impressive.
And thousands of more people who have been watching the program. So yeah,
Yeah.
Been
Well,
around for a little while.
man, I asked you to come on today because, you and I, we've been connected for a while. I see what you do. I love what you do and how you consult others on what's going on in the market right now, what's going on in our economy, just in the worldwide economy, and tying that back to how to grow a business today. So I think it was so valuable, and we thank you so much for taking your time to come in here and talk about what you're finding to work, to not work, and provide some insights and shed light on how to really dominate a local market in even during a crisis. I know that's what you prepared today. You gave me a little taste tester, and I was like, this has to go out to the group. This has to.
I appreciate that. Yeah, look, I mean, we are in some very interesting times where in Australia we're in the middle of lockdown. I know in the US, in most states, you're in the middle of lockdown. Some states are in a state of emergency. So, this thing that, occurred or started back in January, where it was born out of China. We've got to think like this is not the first time that we've had pandemics in the world. It's just that in this particular scenario, we're experiencing firsthand the mortality rate of something that is much faster than most things that we've seen in the world. So in the history of man, in the history of our time, we've seen these things before, but we are in a very, very unique situation because what has happened is we've had, and I'm going to share my iPad in just a second with the group so I can do a little bit of explaining or demonstrating. But what we're seeing is we're seeing a health crisis create a financial crisis, and it's a very different financial crisis than we experienced back in 2008. Now, I've been through five financial crises, starting with October 1987. Then we went to 2000 with the tech bubble. Then we went into 2008 with the GFC. We had another blip in 2014, and here we are in 2020. And the one that most of us probably remember the most is 2008, which was over 12 years ago. And one thing that you've got to also understand, in the last 12 years, we have seen the greatest economic growth in the history of mankind. We've seen more billionaires and more millionaires establish their personal wealth in that last 12-year period. So we're coming out of 12 years of the greatest economic growth that the history of business has ever seen since the Industrial Revolution, right? So here we go into a situation where we've had this massive growth, and then all of a sudden we had a blip, and this blip was a big full stop for a lot of people in the market. We have to be mindful of the fact that there are thousands of people who have passed very recently. We have to be mindful of the fact that there's a lot of businesses and there's a lot of people in the US right now. You've got 15 million people unemployed in the last three and a half weeks. In Australia, we've seen just under 2 million people become unemployed. So we're heading towards the 6% mark. You guys are heading towards the 6.5–7% mark. And the figures and the reports that are showing is that there'll be over 30 million to 40 million people who will be out of work after this goes, which is absolutely horrendous and tragic on one end of the scale. Which brings up your unemployment to about 12%, which is huge. That is greater than when the country was back in the Depression. Now, my talk here is not to depress you, not to make you feel anxious. What I'm here to do is to give you some clarity, some assurance, some ideas of how we come through this, stay in business, and then looking at what we are working with coming into the future. So, and by the way, go on.
I was going to say real quick, anybody that has questions, I'm monitoring the live feed here. So if you have questions while John is talking, just post in the comments down below this video your question, and I'll be sure to bring it up whenever he gets to a stopping point.
So one of the things that I will, I guess what I want, I just painted out a whole bunch of doom and gloom. But my intention here is probably to make this the most positive and assuring presentation that you will ever see for business. I believe the information I'm going to be sharing with you has come from some of the masters of the universe in crisis management, people like Bain & Co, McKinsey & Co. These are some of the data that I'm bringing you, or some of the information I'm bringing you is relevant to what's going on right now and how some of the biggest solution or the problem solvers in the world are seeing how things are going, and also bringing you some of the information from probably some of the best business minds on the planet in relation to what's happening, what's about to come, and what is coming through to the future. So I know that right now we are in the moment of what's happening around us, and we are being the victims of our circumstances. But let me tell you, people around the world are resilient. They are innovative, they are creative, and they are doing some pretty amazing things. There are breweries that are pivoting to making hand sanitizer. There are, exhibition, trade show development companies that are now doing virtual events. There's, small businesses are pivoting in the way that they deliver their services. You have the health market changing the way that they care for their patients. You have the contractor market even changing the way it's engaging and doing estimates and serving customers online. So for every disastrous story that you hear out there, I can find dozens of positive stories of people who are staying in business, people who are keeping their employees employed, people who are looking at this as where can they pivot, make some changes, adjust their business, and even open the idea of the possibility of growing out into a new economy with a new resolve and a new way of serving customers. So even in the contractor market, there are being changes that have been made significantly. I can give you, I will cite a few examples of contractors that are absolutely flourishing. In fact, they're booked out until August this year. That's how busy they are, even in this time of what's going on. And so these people are in the US market, these people are in the Australian market, the UK market, the European market. There are people out there who have been very clever and not allowed themselves to go off into the good night, as Shakespeare once said, but they are holding strong, and they are looking at ways of making this time a work for them, so that they're being in work. So I'm going to share my good old iPad with the group here, because we're going to do a little bit of drawing here.
Everybody, let's do, I forgot to do this at the beginning. Let's do a mic check. Can everybody hear us? Let's make sure that if you can hear us, throw a 1 down in the comments down below. And if you're watching this live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay down in the comments below. But let's just make sure that y'all can hear us. I see people responding so far. Brooke said, I love that. So I assume that they can hear us. I just want to double check.
Hopefully
all right, we're good. We're good.
Are you seeing my iPad, Cody?
I can. Can everybody else see his iPad? Let's make sure everybody's watching live. Can y'all see his iPad? Say iPad check. Give me
So
a
you should be
one.
seeing VUCA VUCA to calm. You got that?
I see from this to that. Yep.
Yep, awesome. Okay, so just to give you perspective of where we're at right now. Back in the 1990s, the United States military, when the Berlin Wall came down in 1989, 1990, Russia had started to break up as a country. And so the biggest enemy that the United States has all of a sudden became an unknown to what's going on. And the military had this phrase called VUCA, it's called. And so what it stood for was volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And if you think about where we are today, we are in very volatile times. We're in very uncertain times. We have a great deal of complexity, and there's a lot of ambiguity going on. And the statement that is made, this is Todd Herman, a friend of mine who basically works with major CEOs from around the world, was doing a lot of studies, and the statement of fear lives in stagnant water is probably very relevant to what's going on right now. But the idea is that we want to have some clarity. We want to have some insurance. We want to have leadership, and we want to have movement. We want to build some calm. The only thing that we can focus on are the things that we can control. We can't actually control anything outside of those ideas that we have. And there are external forces that will have an impact on what we have, but it's how we react or how we adapt to make sure that we minimize the risk of those external forces. So, as a business owner, we've got to start putting our thinking hat on, and we've actually got to start doing business very differently than where we did before, because things are going to change. Technology is changing very rapidly. The internet is going crazy right now. People are self-isolating. We're in lockdown. So, there's a complete change in the way that the world is operating, and even the way that we communicate, the way that we serve also has had to change in terms of what we do. So I'm just going to go to a blank page here just to give you some perspective. So we have two things going on here, right? We have a health crisis going on right now, and we have a financial crisis going on right now. So one is feeding the other, basically. So we have health and we have financial, and we are in a time where we're being drawn into a lot of chaos when it comes to what's going on in volatility, and it's gonna impact at every level of society, So one of the things that we have to be mindful of is, I just want to draw out what's going on now and what is coming in the very near future. So if we were sitting here, and we are in April 2020 right now, and if we were to come out to here, this would be April 2023, right? This is where we are. And if we think this is about 3 to 4 months here, and this is about 18 months here. This marker out here is 18 months. So this is 3 to 4 months. And this is 18 to 24 months out here, right? So there's this event that is going to be occurring in the next couple of months, and some people are coining it the mini boom, right? And the reason why I'm calling a mini boom is because there's going to be a bit of a recalibration of how things are going to be changing. So next 3 to 4 months, most of the government stimulus packages, by the way, the governments are going to continue to bring in more stimulus packages. The Western world is printing more money because they need to put cash back into the economy and get us back to work. So the Federal Reserve and the bank is going to be actually printing cash. The government is going to be providing stimulus packages where it can to support small to medium businesses, because these are the businesses that are going to keep the economy going. Your businesses out here are going to keep the economy going. So those things are really important. So if I were you, one of the things that I would do is look at a federal level, at a state level, and a city level, right? What stimulus packages are available to you as a business owner? Because cash right now is king, and you want to preserve the capital. So if you haven't already, I would highly recommend that you look at what's available to you federally, at state level, and even at city or at county level, because governments at every level are providing stimulus revenue for small to medium businesses and for people who are not in business as well. So there's lots of opportunities for you to actually generate capital in this period. So we've got this mini boom happening, and we have this marker at the 18 to 24 month mark. What's happening right now is we're seeing a whole bunch of businesses literally come right out of the market, right? They are out of the market, gone, right? They won't be coming back. This accounts right now for 20, but it'll get up to 30% of businesses. 30% of the businesses that went into this today, in the next few months, will be out, and they're not coming back. This is where all our unemployment is coming from. They are gone and out of the marketplace. 20 to 30%. So think about that. 20 to 30% of businesses in the United States will not be coming back to work in 2 to 3 months' time because they'll be out of business and gone. That's a huge number of businesses in the market.
Oh
There's a second group of people. And this group of people is people who are wait and see. I'm going to ride this out. I'm going to see what happens. And this is they're going to sit on this line. They'll get to about the 18 to 24 month mark, and a majority of these businesses will be out. And some of these businesses are going to, in that 2 to 3 year period, they're going to continue on. And in this gap here, it's going to take businesses that are just waiting, trying to ride this through, trying to survive this. It's going to take those businesses 3 years, 2 to 3 years, to get back to where they were in January 2020. So 2 to 3 years to get back to where you were in January 2020. That is if you are sitting, trying to survive, trying to make it through. But in that 2 year period, a lot of businesses are going to fall by the wayside, but you're going to have some businesses that hang in there, and it's going to take 3 years to ride this out. Now, in every recession, in every major recessionary period, the year between 3 and 6, year 3 and 6 out of every recession is the year where the greatest financial growth occurs. If you think about our last 12 years, 2008 was terrible, but by 2012, some of the biggest companies emerged. In fact, in the last recession, you think about where Uber was and Amazon and LinkedIn, all these companies literally emerged out of the last recession and became some of the largest companies in the world, right? From that recession. So if you think about where we were and where we are going to, where we were back in 2008 to 2020, January 2020, we had massive growth in this market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So generally what's going to happen is that 2 to 3 year period, there's going to be a significant jump or a curve jump in growth and financial growth. So there's a third group of people. These are the people that I am spending time with, I'm talking to, and a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you today comes from talking to people who are in this category. This third group of people, this accounts for about 30% of the market, is going to be tracking along. As we go along, they're going to sit here and they'll hit this moment in this 18 to 24 month mark, and they hockey stick out here. This is opportunity. So there's two booms that are going to occur. The first boom, the mini boom, 2 to 3 months, we're going back to work, we're coming back in, businesses are going to come back open, restrictions are going to be relaxed, we're going to get back to work. And so what's going to happen is there's going to be this gap in this market right here, because 30% of businesses just left. That means that the customers that would be served by that 30% that have gone are going to be looking for you. If you're staying in business, they're going to be looking for you. They're going to be looking for other suppliers in the marketplace, right? So one thing you've got to realize, even in the contractor market right now, you are in a very sweet spot, because there's a whole bunch of people who've laid people off and taken on furlough, and it's going to take them time to get back into this market. So when they're ready, they're going to be slow to the mark. So what's going to happen is those businesses that are actually being very smart in the way that they operate, that they've been actually planning, strategizing, making sure that they're staying in business, making sure that they can thrive out of this economy, are going to be ready to accept all those customers that are going to come back into the market. So these people here that have been planning right now, and they've been working right now, know that they are in for a bump in the next 3 to 6 months. right? They know they're in for a huge bump because there's going to be this massive gap of all these people that left the market, right? So that's the second thing. But here's the thing, 18 months to 2 years, right? Look at the gap. Look at the gap between where the players are, the people who actually planned for the growth. Look at how big the market is. And this is why you get this huge upswing and up curve in the market, right? So another thing that you need to be thinking about as a business owner is that there are a lot of opportunity to do business very, very differently. But here's the thing. The way we operate right now is very different to what we were operating 4 months ago at a mental level. So one of the things I want to show you is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know if you can actually see that, right?
Yeah.
But how we operate is we're operating very differently. Right now, if you think, we're taking care of our psychological, physiological needs, right? Food, shelter, sleep, clothing, air, water, we have those sorts of things going on, right? Our safety needs, personal security, employment, our wealth, our property, we're protecting our assets right now. And we need belonging, right? As part of what we need is we need things like friendships, our intimacy, our, basically how we are engaging, right? And our connection in the marketplace. Now,
Right.
on the next rung up, we have self-esteem and we have self-actualization. But right now in the world, we are operating in this mode here. If you think of where we're at in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we are only focused on the bottom rung of the ladder. We are focused on our physiological needs, our safety needs, and our belonging needs. That's where we're at. Businesses, right? If you think our businesses, this is where businesses are at. Businesses are focusing on safety, security needs. That's where business is right now. Business is right here. Right? Got to keep our doors open. Got to keep cash. Right? That's where we are. Right?
So what does this
keep
mean?
our doors open.
To me, this means. Sorry to cut you out. Did I mess anything up? Hope I didn't mess anything up. When you mention this tells me that like the marketing message, if I'm looking for partners, if I'm looking for referrals, needs to be along these lines. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The way that we are operating right now is we're changing the way we operate as people even, because think about what's going on. There's a lot of panic going on, a lot of uncertainty. And so what we do is when we have panic and uncertainty, we go back to our basic fight or flight responses and we go back to our basic needs. So we start to take care of those important basic needs so that we feel okay. Now, if we're talking at nobody's offering self-esteem. And if you're marketing at the top, talking about being happy and being abundant and thriving, and if your message is at the top here, right, what you're going to do is you'll generally find that you're missing the message with the market. So all our marketing, all our advertising, all our promotion, all our websites have to change to communicate how we keep people safe, how we keep their physiological needs going, how we actually keep connection going. So all our marketing needs to address where people are at in the market right now. And right now, businesses are here. They're in this safety needs market. But where businesses need to be and where they need to thrive is they actually need to connect with their customers, right? They've got to be in the belonging and the connection part. And businesses haven't been very good at doing this, by the way. Businesses have not been very good at doing this. So now we're being forced to do this. We need to over communicate to our customers. We need to be communicating almost every other day, letting people know what we're doing. The biggest mistake that small business is making right now is they're not letting people know that they can still do business. They're not letting people know that they're still open or they can still handle inquiry. A lot of businesses have like, I'll give an example. So my father-in-law is sitting at home in lockdown. And by the way, America's sitting at home in lockdown. The same thing's happening. But my father was sitting there, and of course, he's looking at the house, right? And he's looking at the walls, and he's looking, oh, we've got to fix those cracks up there. We've got to repaint the house. We've got to go and, we have to get the pest controller in. We've got to get the pool guy to fix the pool. So he's writing all these lists of all these things that he has to fix when he can, either in lockdown or when he gets out of lockdown. Because he's sitting there, and we're all sitting at home, and we're all looking at our broken shit. Right, we're thinking of the fencing, we're thinking of the footpaths, we're thinking of our driveways, awnings, you know, decking, all these things. We've got time on our hands. So we've got all these lists that we're making, and guess what? We are surfing the internet looking for our options, right? And so if you say, so for example, my father was sitting there, father-in-law say, right, we've got to get some painting done, we've got to get some cracks fixed up with some plastering. So what does he do? He goes out into the market and he, you know, he looks for a painter, right? A person to come in who's going to do some plastering and painting. So he calls the first guy and he's closed. Sorry, we're closed at this time right now. We don't know when we're going to get back, but it will be back until due further notice. This guy didn't even answer the phone. This guy is closed as well. And then this guy is open. And right, and he says, yes, how can we help you? Yes, we can make sure that you're safe in safe distancing. We can do the paint job now. We can have a team come in. We'll wear hazmat, we'll wear masks. We wear gloves. We make sure we clean up after ourselves and disinfect the areas that we've worked in. And at the end of the day, we can get the job done, and you'll be safe, and it'll be happening. That was a 5K paint job, right? That was sitting there. So 3 businesses, 1, 2, 3, missed out because they decided to close and wait it out. One business is sitting there saying, yeah, we can help. We can help in the current situation. We've adapted to what we do. We'll give you a quote over the phone. We can actually have, we're going to take payment with our payment link on our gateway. We'll sit here and I can ask questions. You can go around with your iPhone and take photos of what needs to be done. Send that to us and we'll figure out and give you a price and give you a quote. Within half an hour, they had a quote for the actual job and said, we can have some guys there at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. It's going to take us a day and a half to get that done for you. Are you okay with that? And my father-in-law went, yes. So 3 businesses lost out on a 5K paint job because they decided to, till further notice, we'll let you know when we're back. But nobody's going to know when they're back because people are looking and saying, well, you've closed, so we're not sure. What are our options? So this is what's going on right now, even in the contractor market all over America, because there are still people. There's a HVAC company I know in Austin, Texas, that is absolutely super busy right now. Other HVAC businesses, not so busy. They've kept their employees on and their phones are ringing hot in the marketplace. There's a fencing contractor that I know that is super busy until August this year, is booked out, right? Cannot handle, like is out there still handling inquiries, booking out. Because he doesn't have to go to a property to do a quote. He can use Google Maps to get the fence line of the property, work out an estimate for the customer, talk to the customer on Zoom like this, right? And then provide that quote and say, great, when we get there, because we're practicing safe distancing, we'll wave to you from the fence line to the door, just say, hey, how you doing? And then you're going to wave back. So we're going to be cool and we're going to do all that work. And when we're finished, we're going to wave to you and say goodbye, right? And we're out of there, right? So imagine that a fencing contractor right now is busy until August. In fact, is hiring fencing contractors from other fencing companies that decide to shut down so that he can help with the work. So he's rehiring people back into the marketplace from his competitors because the competitors are leaving the door open right now in the market, right? So understand people still need stuff, right? There are certain areas of the market that are absolutely flying right now, right? There are certain parts of the economy that are booming right now because of what's going on with our recessionary period that we're in right now. So understand that if we are in the safe needs, we need to be in the connection and the belonging needs, which means we need to be more active about letting people know that we are in business. And there's a couple of things that businesses need to do right now. So here's what business need, right? Number one, you've got to stay and you've got to have your customers pay. You need to stay in business and you need your customers to still refer or to stay with you in the marketplace. So the first thing you've got to do is let every customer know that you are still in business, right? Every customer needs to know that they can call you, that you can quote for them, that you can help them, or you've pivoted in the way that you treat or manage a project with your customers. That is the first thing you need to do. Everybody has to be over communicative. Everybody has to be known that you're in business. Number two, right? You have to engage with a new offer. New offer, new message. Remember, our message has to communicate here. We have to communicate at the level of the lower end of the Maslow's hierarchy. So how do we as contractors, or how do we as business owners, when we make an offer, take into consideration what is going on, right? Because right now for your business, you have this idea that cash is king, and it's the same for your customers. Cash is king. So there's two concepts that we have to look at here. We have to either do more for the same, or we have to do the same for less. We've got to add more value for the same price to help people out, or we can provide the same service for less to help people out. We want to stay in business. We need to change our messaging. We need to change our offering. That doesn't mean that you can't offer a premium service, because there are people in the market that will still buy a premium service in the market, right? But we need to think more for the same, or the same for less, because people are looking for value right now. People looking for value. And in fact, one of the recession-proof markets, funnily enough, is the luxury market. In the recession, the luxury brands actually grow and thrive because people still want their Louis Vuitton bags. People still want their, you know, their trucks, their super Silverados, and people spend money. You know, luxury is a really big thing, and so people feel, you know, safe and secure and okay when they can afford to buy luxury things in a recessionary period. So luxury services, optimum premium services, all you pool contractors out there that are making premium pools, all you people who are doing remodeling and renovation that are providing luxury lifestyle type renovations, you are in the pocket for people who are spending money at that level as well. Right? There is money out there for us to have. However, the concept of more for the same for less is going to prevail, right, in terms of what we're doing in the marketplace. Now, number 3 is my favorite. You need to let the local market know you're in business. If the local market doesn't know you're in business, you are going to end up here, right? You're going to struggle, right? If the local market knows that you're in business, you're going to end up here. And here's why. And this is, I'll give you an example of this. So I was watching the news, and I don't watch the news a lot. The only time I watch it is once a day, just to get what, if there are any rules that are changed in terms of lockdown and safety and all those sorts of things. Right. And so they were doing reports on how businesses are being impacted through this time. And they had went to an electrician. An electrician had 4 or 5 vans in his business. He had 30 people that he employed, and he was running a very successful contractor electrician business before the shit hit the fan, right? Mm-hmm. And so here he is on the thing saying, yeah, you know, we're furloughing staff, we're cutting people back from 5 days to 3 days. You know, we're trying to, you know, we're now, you know, practicing safe distancing practices, health practices with our team. Those that can work from home can work from home. We're doing all those sorts of things. And we're cutting our costs. We are cutting our costs. And so we've cut all our advertising, and, you know, and so things are really tight and things are really tough. And there was one thing that he said in that interview, which I thought was really interesting. He said, yeah, we've cut our advertising, and now all of a sudden in this period, our phones have stopped ringing. Now, if you've cut your advertising, of course, the phones have stopped ringing. There are people who still need your service as an electrician. There's still emergency jobs to be done. There's still things where people are working on things that they need electricity. Electricity is a primary function of survival in the modern world. And if we don't have it, we have no internet, we have no TV, we have no storage, no refrigerators, a whole bunch of stuff goes wrong in our homes. So electrical contractors right now should be working through the roof. You should be flat out as an electrical contractor. The problem is that if you don't let the market know that you're in business, they can't find you. You're going to end up in this scenario where we're going from one to the other so we can find you who is open right now. So number 3, you have to let people know that you are in the market. You have to be mindful of the decisions that you make as a business owner, that you should be running ads right now, and it's never been cheaper to run ads online. And that's where everybody is right now. The volume of surge of traffic online in the last 2 months has more than doubled. More than double. The pressure on our broadband is huge. That means in every part of our market, people are searching for things and they're searching for you. And one of the things that I recommend every contractor do is you need to make sure that your business is in Google My Business. You know, the little map thing that you see when you go to search, this thing here is the most powerful computer in the world right now. This is the most powerful computer in the world because we all sleep with one, right? We all connect with this. We're socially connected to this. So what do we do when we look for things? If I'm in a particular location, I literally go straight to maps, type in the business, and look for the nearest business in my location. And I generally find those businesses that have got Google My Business. I can find those businesses. Or I'm going to Google and I'm searching in Google, right? So I'm looking in this. So if I can't find you in here in your local market, you don't exist, right? Somebody else is going to get that call and somebody else is going to get that money. So Google My Business, very important. Search engine optimization right now is on the rise. You need to be found online. You need to be found online, right? Second thing that you need to do is you need to run ads, right? Remember this number 3, you got to let people know in your local market know. If you want to be at the top of the search engine searches, you need to run some ads. And right now it's never been cheaper to run ads. So you need to run ads in Facebook and especially in Google. So Google Ads. And you want to do what we call retargeting. For those who know what retargeting is you get anybody that drops onto your website, there's a little pixel that is placed by whoever's managing your ads. Anybody who drops onto your website, when they go searching on the internet, if they go to CNN or New York Times or wherever, your ad will appear to them because they've left a footprint on your website. So these people will be drawn back to your business because it looks like you've got a budget at Coca-Cola and you're seen everywhere. In fact, this type of marketing is very, very cheap, pennies on the dollar. Right?
Yeah.
On the dollar. This is cheap marketing. You need to be marketing because I'll show you a stat which kind of blew me away. So this is a stat out of the S&P. I don't know if you can see this graph. This is a stat from the S&P Capital Group, which did a study on all the businesses, right, who actually spent or didn't cut their costs like most businesses did in the market. And so here's what happened. The businesses that didn't cut their costs and spend in marketing, that actually managed their costs effectively to be in the market, saw a 17% increase in business, right? These businesses here had a huge growth rate in this period, right? This is going in, so if you think about the years, look at the years from 2008 to 2010. Look at the gap between those businesses here and here. Huge gap, right? And so as these businesses who stayed spending on their marketing, invested in their marketing, got really serious about marketing, look at the growth rate. Look at the gap by 2014. See how we're talking about that 3-year gap before in this diagram, right? Look at you know, this is what's happening, right? At 3 year 4 here, look at this. That's what's happening, that gap. Well, this is a direct demonstration of what happened in the marketplace. Is this gap, right? Look at where we are. So over this period, this is nearly a 44% growth rate in the market.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Look at the difference. This is why there was so many people that got so wealthy in the market, is because they heavily invested in advertising and marketing online. That's what happened. Right? Those businesses that spent money on advertising to let people know that they were open, they were the ones that thrived in the economy, right? Those that hung in there, retracted and retreated in the market. Look at the growth rate. For nearly over a year and a half, 0%, 0% growth, right? For a year and a half. So you imagine we're here in 2020 and no growth until 2022.5. No growth until 2022.5. This is why a lot of businesses are going to hurt in this crisis, right? So we as small business owners, we have an opportunity, because small business is what's going to keep the country afloat. Small business is what's going to keep people in jobs. Small business is what's going to keep the cash coming through the marketplace. But this is going to happen again. This has happened, by the way. This happens in every recessionary period. This is what happened from 2008, and if you look at where we were in 2017. right? The gap is huge in the market, right? So if you look at, this is from Bain & Co. I've been talking to people at McKinsey, right? Strong, urgent cost transformation, right? Pare back on non-core units in the process. So looking at parts of your business that are profitable, where you're strong and you're making the most profit, right? Play offense. Look at this. Invest, enhance product, market share, leadership, proactive acquisitions, right? Being on the front foot as opposed to being on the defense. If we're playing a defensive game, this is what happens when you play a defensive game, right? If we're on the offense, this is what happens on the offense, yeah? So understand that we right now are in the world of, sorry, just going back to this one. We're in this is the quadrant where we need to play right now in our world. We've got to invest to grow. We've got to redefine the businesses around us and more importantly, selectively invest to grow the core of our business, and cost transformation to fund the future of businesses. There are businesses right now that are sitting there looking at how they can buy out their competitors' databases. They're waiting to get back into the market, and they're looking and say, hey, well, this guy's out of business. He's sitting there. His business isn't worth anything, but he's got a customer base. I can give him some money for that customer base. And so they're going to grow by acquiring other businesses' customer bases, because they can sit there and say, hey, sorry, Bob's not there anymore, but we can certainly be here and help you serve the market, right? So acquisition of other businesses to be able to grow is going to be a really big thing in this period. These are some of the things that you need to be aware of. And let me tell you, it's cheap to buy other people's customers in a recessionary period because people are looking for cash.
For fractions,
right?
For fractions, you can buy somebody else's database right now if they're shutting the door.
You can take over somebody's business for nothing. You know, I'll give you an example. So so mini skips. I don't know if you know what a mini skip is. It's where you have a truck come in, drop a huge metal bin in front of your home. You throw your garbage in there and all the stuff you want to get rid of, and then they come back, pick up the bin, and then they go away, right? So these huge mini skip type bins. And so a friend of mine who runs a branding agency in the UK says, well, we're sitting in lockdown, and he's talking to his wife and say, you know, we've been talking about cleaning up the house and getting rid of all our rubbish and all the stuff for ages. This is an opportunity to do that. So he calls the mini skip company and he gets onto Google and starts calling companies that provide mini skips, because in lockdown, you know, you can't, social distancing and all that sort of stuff. Well, we can throw stuff into a bin and have somebody pick that up and take it away and not have to deal or transact with them personally, right? So he's calling businesses off Google, and of course business saying, you know, right now due to coronavirus, we've had to send our team home, and we'll be back in business till further notice. He went through that exercise, right? And he got to one company, and and the company answered and said, yep, how can we help you? We can give you a quote, we can get a bin out to your home, no problem at all, right? And so here's a classic, right? So my friend, who's very curious, he said, hey, how are things going for you? And he says, well, we're probably getting about 20 to 30 phone calls every hour right now, because we are absolutely flat out, because all our competition has decided to shut down, and we were the silly ones that decided to stay open. So we're getting all their business right now. And he says, what I've had to do is, because I had to go and rent mini skips from my competition so I can serve the customers that are acquiring our thing.
Gosh.
I bought a truck from one of my competitors to be able to deliver these trucks. And I hired 3 drivers from my competitors that were let go so that it can help me to service the market. He says, I am flat out right now. We're actually looking at putting on some new lines so we can have more people answer these phones, because we can't handle the business. And he said, we pivoted. We basically went online. We put the quote online. We take the payment online, right? So that's all they did. Had a page, merchant facility, take the payment online. Had the ability to do a quote online very easily, and then when we go there, we rock up, we call the home, we say, hey, we'll wave to you at the door, right? We'll put the mini skip exactly where you want it to. We go and do a Google map look of the property. We ask them to point to on the map where we want to put the thing, and we put it exactly where they want it. They come in, fill all their rubbish up. We come back the next day or two, pick it up, wave from the fence, thanks for doing business, and buy. So here's a mini skip business that's adapted to the current market, that is absolutely flying, and his competitors, because they decide to close their doors and not let anybody know that they still can handle them, somebody else has picked up the slack. And he says, I can't believe what's going on. My business is going through the roof, right? I'm making,
Insane.
you know, he says, We've done more revenue in the last 4 weeks than we did in the last 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
More revenue in the last 4 weeks. So this is a contractor out there in the marketplace delivering garbage bins or bins for people to clean out their houses. And what are people doing? They're sitting at home making lists of all the crap that they've got to get rid of. His business is going through the roof, right?
That is insane. He's literally getting their market share and then using their resources to serve their market for them because
Exactly.
they decided to close. That's insane.
Yeah, exactly. So he's gone back to them and said, hey, you need cash? I want to rent your bins. Rent me your bins because we've got, and he didn't tell them what was going on. He just said, look, I just need your bins because I've got a project going on and I need those bins. Can I rent those bins from you? And of course they're going, yeah, I'll take the cash. So take as many bins as you like, right?
Yeah,
and then the guy says, hey, you got a truck for sale? I need a truck, right? And the guy goes, yeah, I got a truck for sale. Great, give me a deal on the truck because he needs cash. So he gets a deal on the truck to be able to deliver. He says, you got any drivers? I need some drivers because this project I've got to run around. Have you laid anybody off that we can hire? So yeah, we certainly we'll help our guys get back into work. So he's gone and hired his competition's drivers. He's renting his competition's buckets. He's buying his competition's trucks, right, and assets so that he can serve the current market for what's going on in his business. So he's revolutionized his business. He's revolutionized how he's advertising online to cope with that. So understand that he is playing offense, right? He is investing to grow. And what is happening to his business? His business is doing this, going up.
It's exploding.
Right. So this is happening a lot. Like the HVAC business I mentioned in Austin, Texas, the only reason why they're busier than anybody else is because they're running ads to let people know that they can still serve their customers with safety standards, and at the same time that they can handle their inquiries. They are running their inquiries 24/7 in their ads. So they've got somebody on the phone in 3 shifts managing inquiries. They are flat out. Their competition is sitting at home, twiddling their thumbs, praying that they can get back into the marketplace, right? In every market that I know of, and I'm looking for these stories, by the way, in growth markets. I'm looking for these stories where businesses, part of the market has dropped out and left, and part of the market has stayed. And they're staying and they're innovating and they're being creative, and they're doing it in a very short space of time. They're adapting very, very quickly in the current market, right? So understand that we need to be in mode 3, right? SEO, Google My Business, you've got to be in there. Ads on Facebook, Google, or retargeting, you've got to run some ads. It's never been cheaper. In fact, ad cost has dropped by more than 50%. It's going back to the days when Facebook first introduced advertising. So it is so cheap to run good Facebook ads right now to generate clients.
It's literally like beginning prices like back in 2011, 2015.
Yeah.
Insane the prices right
super,
now.
Super cheap. So
remodeling
you need to be, if you are not running ads, you're out of the market. If you're not running ads and letting people know that you are in business, you're out of the market. But here is the cool thing that is happening. This is a side effect of what's going on. So back in January 2020, right, which is 3.5 months ago, right, we were in the United States. We were at a level called zero functional employment. Because of our fantastic president and his nationalization of American industry, pushing out skill-leveled people in the market because they were being swallowed up, we had zero functional employment. What that meant was that anybody with a skill, right, any highly skilled person was actually working right now, and you had to actually extract somebody from somebody else's job to come and work for you. We're at zero functional employment with skill level in the US, all right? And the GOP, the Republican government, brilliantly, because this was going to really impact, if you don't realize, this was going to seriously impact the US economy anyway. The US economy was heading for this moment on a different level because of this this problem of a massive skill shortage. We had a massive skill shortage, right? So here's the thing. In the space of 2 months, we went from zero functional employment, right, to abundant skill market. All these people that have lost their jobs and they're losing their jobs, they've all got skills. Managers, supervisors, contractors, highly trained, highly skilled, highly educated. They're out there in the market. So if you're a business owner, it is a hirer's market. I just had a friend of mine who hired a tech person from a company that let him go stupidly and recognized as one of the preeminent marketing tech people in the US. The person let that person go, and a friend of mine snapped them up because they lost their job and they employed them. They employed them straight away. So now my friend is sitting there super happy that he has one of the United States' best marketing automation specialists in the country working for him, because a competitor in the market was panicked, reacted, and let go of a highly valued, skilled employee without thinking about the fact that how he was going to stay in business to maintain his employment. There are companies right now, even in my company right now, we are hiring. We're not letting people go. We haven't let a single employee go in this market. We are making sure that every single person that works for us stays with us because we need them. We can't lose those skills. We've invested too much money to have those skills in our business for them to go away. So we're working through trying to make sure that we keep everybody employed. And right now, we're actually hiring right now. And right now, we're hiring in this abundant skill market, right? Remember, 30 million people, 30 to 40 million people are out of a job. And these people are looking for jobs right now, right? The job market through the roof, right? And you have an opportunity to hire some really great team members to actually help you grow your business, right? Because 30% of the people that become unemployed are going to start their own business. And this is a threat to you. This is a threat to you. These people who are going to start their own businesses, those people are starting contractor businesses. Those people are going to come into this market, into your market, and start advertising and promoting and competing against you. Remember, the biggest growth in business occurs in that 2 to 3 year gap, the biggest growth in business. So 30% of that market, there's going to be 10 million people going into business.
I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that had been let go from their company, and they're like, I need to bid my own jobs, because they know how to run it. They've got the contacts, the resources, the knowledge, and all they need is the inquiry. So they're literally hiring us to run marketing for a business that they're trying to start because they got let off otherwise.
Contractors that were working for other contractors, right? Subcontractor to other subcontractors, have been laid off. They're not going to go back to the guy that employed them and go, to hell with you, I'm going to start my own business. I want to be in control of my own destiny so that this never happens before, right? So there's going to be a whole bunch of people coming into your marketplace competing against you, and they are going to sit there and go, hey, we need to get some ads. We need to let people know that we're in business. So this is going to impact. This is why it's really important that you start focusing on making sure that you are marketing out there. You need to make sure that you're visible. You need to change your websites and your landing pages. You need to make it easy for the customer to buy you. These are the things you need to think about in growing your business right now. So huge opportunity for contractors right now, massive. In fact, your market is one of the recession-proof markets. I don't know if you realize this, but the contractor market is one of the recession-proof markets right now. And remember, right now, a lot of people are sitting at home and they are writing lists of all their broken stuff and all the things they need repaired. Right now, if you are in the remodeling space, anybody who's a contractor in the remodeling space, you are about to be hit with a surge of inquiry of business, because what happens in a recessionary period is people start to look at their own homes and start fixing up their homes to make them look good, because they can't afford to go and buy investment properties. They can't afford to go and expand or change their living circumstances. So what are they going to do? They're going to make their current home better. This is why, if you haven't noticed on your televisions, there are more renovation reality shows starting up right now. Showing people how to renovate their homes. Isn't that interesting? That's because everybody's going to go, you know what? I think we need to build a new staircase in this home. I think we need to go and fix the pool. I think we need to go and put a deck out here. I think we need to go and be comfortable, because remember, let's go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, human needs. What do we need? We need to feel looked after. We need to feel safe. We need to feel connected, right? That's what people are doing right now. That's where the market is. Right now, this is where your customers are at, and this is where you are at. You are in this world right now. Yeah. So what do we do? It's all very nice having all this cool information about what's coming, right? But right now you need to over communicate. You've got to start looking at sending out a message. Any list that you've got, any customer list that you have, past, present, any quote that you lost in the last 12 months, any estimate that you did on a job in the last 12 months, right? You need to go back to them. You need to call them, pick up the phone. Hey, did you get that job? I know we quoted a whole bunch ways back. Did you ever get that job done, right? Did you get that taken care of? You'll be surprised that some people have not taken care of the job, right? Now, here's the other thing is, if you're going to market and you're going to be open for business, you want to handle your inquiries. And this is a big mistake a lot of contractors make in the marketplace. If you don't handle inquiries, a competitor will. So you could be running ads, and if you don't help people or respond to people or get back to people very quickly, that person's going to go to a competitor. So all the ads that you're running is you're running ads to promote other competitors. If you don't handle the inquiry, you're running ads to promote other inquiries. So let me give you an example of this. So I was working with a marketing agency. Actually, they were based in Virginia. Based in Virginia, they ran ads for a HVAC company. And so they gave this company 200 inquiries. 200 people had opted into the offer. And then the company that they were giving the inquiries to said, you know, these leads that you're giving us are shit, because none of them have turned into sales. And so my client turned around and went, okay, I need to find out what happened with these people, right? So of the 200 leads, he rang 90 of the leads that apparently were terrible and were tire kickers, rang 90 of them. 36 of them had purchased an air conditioning unit from somebody else. 36, $300,000 worth of air conditioning units bought somewhere else. 36.
Oh my God.
22 people out of the 90 still required an air conditioner. So there were 22 people who still needed this company to give them an air conditioner. So he calls the company and says, listen, $300,000 of air conditioners, we rang 90 of them, and you just gave $300,000 to other air conditioning companies because those people needed help and you didn't help them. You let them go. So that's one thing. And one thing, we've got 22 other people who still need an air conditioning unit right now. Do you want to help them? Because you paid for them. If you don't want to help them, I'm just going to go give them to another air conditioning company. What do you want to do? Right? So you need to manage your customers effectively. You need to communicate. You need to have a system and a process that if somebody makes an inquiry, that you get back to that person within minutes, right? After 10 minutes, they're already thinking of looking somewhere else. If you haven't got back to them within 10 minutes, if you don't have a mechanism to engage them, to say, hey, I'm going to help you, thanks for the inquiry, right? If you don't do that within the first hour, 85% of those people have already gone to a competitor. So the money that you spend on the ad to acquire that customer, you basically advertise for the competition. So this is a critical advantage. So think about it, right? When you do get an inquiry, that you need to manage that inquiry effectively, because at the end of the day, it's your return on investment for your advertising. The reason why you're advertising is an investment, not an expense. The biggest mistake what accountants will do, and they'll tell you, your advertising is an expense and a cost to the business, right? That's what your accountant will say. And yes, on the balance sheet, it is an expense. However, the reason why you advertise is to acquire a customer. So if you spend $1 and you get $3 to $4 back, that's a return on investment. That is not a return on cost, right? So you need to treat your advertising like an investment. And let me tell you, advertising and marketing is where it's at. And if you're doing it online, that's where everybody is at right now. Remember, we are surging, we're living off this powerful computer. If you are not on here, if I can't find you here, you don't exist. You lose. You lose if I can't find you here, because I'm going to go to your competitor in the marketplace.
And that's,
so understand, sorry.
I'd like to add something to that. That's like, if you can't find me on there by searching generically, not
Hmm.
necessarily searching my company specifically. Like, of course, if you search my company specifically, it's going to come up, but you have to be able to be found within those search terms, what the customer is searching, not like just the name of your company.
Yeah. No, they need to. And by the way, what the customer's searching for is changing as well, right?
Yeah.
The way that the search terms are changing. So if you look at Google Trends online, for those of you who are going to be a little bit clever, if you go and search Google Trends and you look for your industry and you look at the trends over the last 3 months based on your product or service category, you'll notice in the contractor market, it's gone through the roof in most cases. Search volumes for contractor services has more than quadrupled in the last 2 months in Google Trends. And if you use another tool called Ahrefs or SEMrush or CMOS, you use some other tools, you can actually zero in to key buying words right now that people are looking for, and actually you can run campaigns to those words. So Google Trends right now is a great way to find what people are looking for when it comes to your product or your service, and you can align your message and they can find you easier. Remember, because our search volumes are also under competition threat as well. A lot of people left the market, which means they're leaving gaps open in the market for customers and what they're searching for. So that's the other thing that you need to be mindful of. There are ways in which you can get ahead of the competition right now that are unprecedented in terms of marketing, right? Just advertising alone will put you in front of the competition, because most people have withdrawn from the market. They haven't gone into the market, yeah? So right now, your opportunity, there is a mini boom coming. Everybody just know this. In 2 to 3 months' time, a whole bunch of people come back to work, a whole bunch of people with cash. They've been sitting at home looking at what they need to fix in their house. They're making lists and they're looking for you. And if they can't find you online, you're screwed, right? But
Right.
on the other side of that, this opens the door to a massive opportunity. Massive opportunity. You should be running ads now. You should be taking calls now. You should be able to deal and pivot and deal with customers remotely, right? You should be able to do that easily, quite easily now. So I'm happy to take some questions, Cody, if you have questions.
Yeah. Anybody that has any questions, man, the information you just went through is incredibly valuable, man. That's an insane look into what's going on in the market and how to position yourself with the curve of the market and what's going on. That's incredible.
I'd
So
love to know what people think about what I've just shared, if it's been helpful.
yeah, anybody throw a question down below if you have any questions about any of the information that we've covered, anything from the hierarchy of needs, anything from pertaining to what happens in these recessions specifically based on data, based on what's happened previously in the past across every single recession, essentially. Um, if anybody
I'm
has any
working
questions,
harder
post a
now than I
comment
did three
below.
months ago. Yeah. The other thing you need to be mindful of is you need to start operating like a startup. Every business in the world right now, big or small, needs to operate like a startup. So when we're a startup, think about when you first started your contracting business. What did you do? Right? You looked at ways of getting out to new customers. You looked at ways of innovating. You got a website. You got some cards and flyers, and you hustled. Right? You hustled to go and get business. Right now, we need to be hustling. We need to work up and we need to hustle up. We need to operate like startups, not like we're established businesses, right? Because this is a moment where you get to innovate, where you get to pivot, where you bring new products to market. People are looking for that sort of stuff right now. Yeah. So this, like I said, this is a huge opportunity for a lot of people who are in business, and people who are in business are more well equipped than people who are not in business, right? People who are in business are more resilient than people who aren't in business. There's, being in business is probably the best personal development program you're ever going to invest in. Right? Starting your own contracting business is probably the best personal development program you've made investment, because you have gone through the ups and the downs and the elations and handling and managing people. And you're more resilient than the average person as a business owner. This is why we need you in this market. This is why the people, your communities, need you to do well in this market, because you are the ones that are going to drive the economy. And the contractor market thrives in recessionary periods. It goes through the roof, right? Those that take advantage will go through the roof. Do not hang in there. Don't do that. You're going to die if you try to hang in there. Do not let go, right?
Yeah.
Fight. Yeah. You
What I've
need to be
seen
on the offensive, not the defensive.
And that's one of the biggest things that I've seen. Everybody's, doesn't know what to do, right? To
Yeah.
even be on the, yes, I know I need to be on the offensive, but I don't know how to be on the offensive right now. I don't know what my marketing message is supposed to say. I don't know if I should hire this person or that person and do it myself. Um, there's a lot of questions that we're seeing everybody go through. But I think you named it. I think you laid it out perfectly here. The 1, 2, and 3. You need to let people know you're open.
Yeah.
And you're
Help
two.
your existing customers. Help your existing customers, make them stay, get them to stay and pay. Anybody who has been an existing customer, you want cash as king, you need them to stay, you need them to pay, right? Make it easy for customers to pay you, right? Number one, you need to engage with a new offer. Let people know that you can help. Get a little bit creative, right? Remember the idea, more for the same or the same for less, right?
That's extremely powerful right there. It gives you a
You know,
guideline of what to do
yeah,
with what you have.
yeah. Let the local market know that you're in business. You need to, whatever you can do to be visible online, you need to do it. Run some cheap ads, run some ads on Google, run some Facebook ads. Have a strategy to let people know that they are aware. I work, in our agency, we're in the physical therapy market, right? We've got over 300 clients in the physical therapy market. We're running a $30 million business. They've all had to shut their business down because they can't treat patients, different laws in different states, but they are pivoting, they're innovating. They're still running ads because they know that all the chiropractors and all the osteopaths and all the other businesses are going out of business. And so they want to stay in the market, letting people know that they can treat and help people, because people with back pain aren't going to go away. People having surgery aren't going to go away. They need help, right? So
Mm-hmm.
our clients, some of our clients have more than doubled down on their advertising. They've increased their advertising. They're handling and treating patients in remotely. They're treating their patients through video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Video hookups like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're pivoting in the way that they deliver their services. They're still getting paid for their consultations by delivering their consultations online. So understand that right now, you've got to look at making sure that people are aware. Friends, family, associates, we are open, we can help in this market, right? You need to let everybody know
I think
what you're doing.
I feel like a big hesitation that a lot of people have of going online is switching all of this up is that it's a feeling that it's all going to have to switch back in just a couple months. So I might as well wait it out. When the way that I see it, the way that I assume that you see it as well, is like if you position and change your operations to conform to how it needs to be done right now, when this whole thing ends, you're going to have both options, in person and virtual, and you can carry both of those methods into the future. And that's, an extra method that every other competitor won't have.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an
I mean,
accurate
the
assumption?
thing is so think about the precedent and the behavior that's changing right now. What are we doing? What are we doing sitting at home right now? We're either consuming crap off the TV, or we're on our iPads and we're on our phones. We're swiping left, we're swiping right, right?
Mhm.
Everything is Tinder right now. Yeah. We're sitting there and we're doing this, right? Or we're doing this, right?
Mhm.
Scrolling up and down. Yeah. So the behavior right now is exacerbated. It's not going to change because you know what? The world has opened up to a lot of people as well. A lot of
Mhm.
people who weren't spending all their time at work and they weren't really doing stuff online and searching online and consuming online, well, now they are. YouTube is the second most powerful search engine in the world right now. I would challenge anybody on this call, if you haven't watched a YouTube video in the last week, right?
Mhm.
Most of us have watched something on YouTube, whether it be cats or doing crazy things or fail videos or learning something or learning how to do something, right? We're watching videos. Video ads, very powerful right now. This type of medium right now, this is where we're at. We're on this device doing video ads, right? So
Yeah.
think about the behavior. That's not going to change. Think about it. 30 million people are working from home right now. There's a whole new economy that's opening up. So people are working from home. So what are they going to do work from home? They're going to be searching online. So you need to pivot and have an online strategy to service the market. It's not going away. We are not going back. So I just want to be super clear with anybody that's listening or watching this video. The world has changed completely, like never before, right? Like never before, it has changed. It is impacting all our lives. If you think that we're going to go back to where we were 3 months ago, you're going to be sorely mistaken, right? Very, very slowly. We are not changing. We are moving. We're completely moved. This thing, this event has completely revolutionized the way that we engage, the way that we do business, the way that we are bringing products to market. In the health market, there are more products being launched every single day in the health market right now because people are looking for health and safety, right? Right now, there are over 300 research labs around the world looking for a cure for this coronavirus. 300 labs. They're not only going to find cures for coronavirus, but in their search, they're going to find cures for a whole bunch of other things as well. Medical medicine will be changed forever because of this event, because of the surge of the amount of money and research that's going into improving the longevity, the comfort and the longevity of our lives, right? If you think that things will go back to normal or go back to anything, you are sorely mistaken. And any semblance of anything normal, we are 2 years away from anything that looks like normal. 2 to 3 years away from anything that looks like normal. I just got informed, like I was literally 1 day away from being in the US, and I'd be in quarantine if I was in the US. I wouldn't have been able to get back to Australia. And if I got back to Australia, I'd be in quarantine in Australia. I would have lost a month of my life in quarantine just in traveling. But here's the thing, 80% of my business is in the United States, right? 80% of my market's in the US. But I'm talking to my clients via this mechanism. I'm talking to you right now all over the world, right? I can still do business like this. I can still serve my clients. I can still consult. I can still advise doing this. I've been doing this for a very long time. But understand that I was just informed that in Australia, no international travel until December. I cannot hop. My wings are clipped. I literally lived on the plane. I mean, Cody's known me for a while. That's my life. I just literally travel. For the last 5 years, I was on an international flight every 10 days.
Anytime we try to catch each other on a call, I have to figure out what time zone you're in.
Yeah. But travel, travel has changed, and travel will change forever. That's not to say that travel won't go away, right? It's not. It will come back, and flights will come back, and planes will come back, and we'll be able to commute. But internationally, in Australia, I can't travel anywhere, not into a single country anywhere in the world, because all our flights have been cancelled until December, because we don't want people coming back and kicking this virus off again, right? So our governments are making decisions that are having an impact. So if you think that things are going to go back to normal in 2 or 3 months' time, I would encourage you, all of you, to think again very, very quickly, because it ain't going back to any form of normal for at least 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years, right? And even then, in 2 or 3 years' time, we are going to be in a very, very different world from a business point of view. So if you think that if you think in normal, you're out. You'll be gone. You need to change now. You need to adapt now. And people don't like the change thing. But, and also, by the way, just to be mindful, because I'm fully aware, it's normal to feel apprehension. It's normal to be scared. It's normal to have these things go on. It is a natural part of what in our human makeup, right? We need to be scared. We need to be concerned. We need to have some worries. It's okay, right? That makes us human, right? But the only thing that I want to make sure that people are aware of is you can only focus on the things that you can control right now. You can't control the future, right? The future's changing by the day right now. And the future changes by the day, very realistically, for some people who are very sick, right? Their future's changing very fast, right? So understand that nothing is going to be the same. That anybody thinking that is delusional, right? But here's the thing. Connect with people, talk to your customers, overserve your customers, because in this time where you can help your customers, they'll remember you. This is one of the greatest opportunities to do one of the fundamental functions of any business, and that is to look after your customers so you improve the chance of referral, so you have those customers coming back and spending more money with you. Now is the time that businesses need to change the way they treat customers. For the very first time, an important function of your business right now is to make sure you look after them so that they stay. Remember that word, stay and pay? There are 5 functions of your contractor business that you need to be aware of, right? You need to generate customers, right? That's new customers, new, right? New customers. You need to generate customers, right? You need to nurture and follow up all leads. They become important. Your database, you need to nurture, right? Number 2, you need to convert. Sales for your business. That's the number 3 function, right? Number 4, you need to deliver great results for your customers, right? And number 5, you need to retain, resell, and upsell your customers. Those are the 5 functions of a contractor business. So how do you generate new clients? How do you nurture your leads and follow and serve people better? How do you convert? How do you help people buy what you have to offer? How do you build the value and help them and let them know that you are the best choice over a competitor? How do you deliver great results? How do you improve your delivery, your customer service, stand out from the crowd in the marketplace? And the last one, which is really, really important, right? Super, super important, because this is what has saved a lot of contractor businesses. The contractor businesses that were over communicating with their customers, that resold to their customers, that upsold, gave them other options to buy, to go back to, they're the ones that are thriving in the economy right now. They're the ones that are crushing it over the competition, because they were the ones that delivered great service to the market, right? That's why they're keeping their customers. So as a business owner, you need to be generating clients. How are you going to do that? You've got to run some ads. You've got to let people know you're open. You've got to communicate to people that they can come and call you and buy you right now. Number 2, you need to nurture. You need to follow up. So every person who you do a quote for, you need to relentlessly say, hey, how can we get that started? How can we help you? You need to get a little bit creative and innovative the way you nurture people. So you need to be marketing. You need to have a way to engage, let people know how they can benefit from what you do. That's number 2. Number 3, you need to convert. You need to become better at helping customers to buy. The easier you make it for a customer to buy, remember the mini skip guy, right? And the fencing guy. Hey, let's do the quote online. Let me walk you through, let me ask questions. Take photos, show us what needs to be done. We'll provide you with a proper estimate or a proper quote to help you right now. Let's make it easy for you to do business with us so that we can solve your problem faster and better than anybody else, right? So that our conversion, how do we help customers buy? We need to follow up everybody. Remember the story with the HVAC guy who didn't follow up 200 leads, lost $300,000 to his competitors. You need to remember that story. Think about that. Am I helping people right now? Am I responding? Am I doing that? Because right now, if I'm on this device, I am changing the way that I do business. I'm changing the way that I behave as a customer. So you need to make it easy for customers to buy, right? Deliver great results, turn up on time, be mindful of people's health, show them how you help them out, show them how you care, right? Deliver great results. Thank people for being a customer. Start the very thing, thank people. I went to I was just in the States in the early part of this year at a massive conference, and the hotel that I stayed in upgraded me to the suite. I don't know why they did that, but when they upgraded me, in the room, I had a letter from the manager and a big bowl of fruit and a bottle of wine saying, we really appreciate the fact that you've chosen to come and stay with us here at this hotel. And we really appreciate the fact that you're going to enjoy the services here. So we want to say thank you, enjoy the wine, enjoy the fruit platter, right? So I'm going to remember that hotel. I didn't ask for the upgrade. I just got it randomly. But I got this beautiful thing, and I wasn't there. I wasn't I wasn't speaking at a conference or anything like that. I was just a person staying at a hotel. All right. So little things that you can do to acknowledge your customers. Say thank you for choosing to do business with us. Thank you for putting cash in our bank account. We really appreciate you chose us over somebody else. Thank you. We are here for you. Right. So you want to deliver great service, you want to be remembered, you need to start acknowledging your clients for the fact that they chose you and they didn't go to a competitor. Because think of how many thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, or in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars that these people are spending with you, right? If you make them feel good about that purchase, they will love you for it. They will remember you for it. I'll give you an example. There's a guy, we worked with a pool company, and they used to build pools. And what he did was, the pools are not cheap, they were luxury swimming pools. What they used to do was say, hey, why don't we invite all your family and friends and we'll put on a pool party for you to launch a new pool. We'll put on the barbecue, we'll supply the beer, right? I'll be the chef, I'll cook the barbecue. This is our way of saying thank you for choosing our pool, and this is your way of getting your family together as to why you built this pool in the first place. So they used to do the barbecue, they used to hold the cookout to launch the swimming pool in 4 families. And of course, 10, 15, 20 family members have come around, and they go and talk to the guy and said, so they go and talk to the owner, right? Their friend or whatever. So who built your pool? The guy right there behind the barbecue. Go and chat to him. He was the one that put this on for us, right? Every pool that they
that is
built,
so cool.
every thank you party that they gave for their clients, they picked up 2 to 3 more swimming pool deals.
Wow.
Every thank you party that they did for their customers, because think about it, like-minded customers hang around with like-minded people. So they would just go, let's put on a party. What do? You just got a pool. You want to show your pool off to everybody. Let's invite the neighbors. Let's invite the friends. Let's invite the family. We'll put on the beer. We'll put on the steaks. We'll get the salads. I'll cook the barbecue for you. You just got to come in and show up, and we'll take care of everything for you. Right? Now, that used to cost them anywhere between $1,000 or $1,500 to put on the catering and to do the barbecue for people on their new pool. It wasn't a lot of money. Think about the customer just spent $30,000 to $50,000 or $100,000 on a swimming pool. You're going to spend $1,500 to go and get 2 or 3 more swimming pools at 50 to 100 grand, right? Yeah. That's cheap acquisition costs, but they'll never forget it. They'll never forget the party. They'll never forget the fact that you did this for them, right? Stand out from the crowd. How do you say thank you in a different way? That's taking it to a completely different extreme.
Man, that is gnarly. That's smart.
Yeah.
That is so smart.
Yeah. One of the things that we used to do in our, back in the day, well, we still do it today, but in our consulting firm, we used to give awards out to our clients for the successes that they had in their business. Mm-hmm. So if our clients had, if they won an award or were recognized for something in their community, we gave them another award, right? We awarded them for being successful, right? And so what do? They'd hang the award up in the thing. Right? It was a made up thing, but we made it look really beautiful. We say, hey, for outstanding performance and commitment to customer care, ABC Business has been able to successfully serve thousands of people in the marketplace. We want to acknowledge and thank them for being an amazing business for the community, an amazing employer for its employees, but more importantly, one that is looking to care for the market. So we used to give this huge plaque, and they used to stick it up in their boardrooms and their offices, and when customers would walk in, they'd see this massive award on the board. But our brand name was right there at the bottom of that award that we gave the award. So everybody saw, who's that company? Oh, they are our marketing people, right?
That is
right. But we got clients because we gave our clients awards, right?
It's like the Two Comic Club award type thing.
Yeah, perfect example. Right? There's so many things that you can do in the market that you can acknowledge your customers in your business. I'm happy to take any questions. I don't know about your timing. I can hang out for another 5 or 10 minutes. So if anybody got any questions, ideas, or things that perhaps you need to be mindful of, I'm happy to answer those questions, Cody.
Yeah, at the moment we don't have any questions down below, but we still have a few people watching. So I mean, as we wrap this up, I definitely want to highlight you. Thank you so much for jumping on and breaking down this information and what these guys can be doing right now, based on and what to expect, based on what you're doing right now. I think you illustrated that extremely well. How would, if anybody has any questions, follow-up questions, if they watch this video, because this is going to live in the group, right? So people a month from now might have questions after watching you. So how would they possibly get a hold of you, or how do you want that to work if they have any questions?
I'm actually you've got me in the group, so just type your questions in the group. I'm happy to respond. If you want to send me an email, you can send an email to john@consultingunleashed.com. But if you have questions, if you type them in the actual video, I'm more than happy to respond to the questions in the video.
Yeah, Faith says thank you so much for your info. I know that she had mentioned something earlier that something you said was true, like the letting people know that you're open, that they go to this person, all closed, and they end up with the one that is open. She said that happened to a friend of hers. Barry says thank you for your time, and you appreciate your time and all the information. John, 100%. You're one of my favorites to talk with about this kind of information, to follow. If you're listening to this, go follow John. Shoot him a friend request. I don't know if you're probably maxed out on friend requests, I would assume. But
You can, if you, I've got, if you go to Consulting Unleashed, there's a Facebook group there. There's plenty.
yeah,
If you go to the John Logar page, there's, you can just friend me on there, just like me on there and follow. I'm putting stuff up there pretty much every day at the moment. So,
yeah,
at the end of the day, one of the reasons, and I'll really thank you for having me, Cody. I really appreciate you having me on here with this group. My thing right now is my belief in this world is that we as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, are the ones that are going to change the world, the ones that are going to stay in business, to look to thrive in the opportunity, to innovate, to pivot what we do. You here that are watching this video, you are the game changers. You are the world beaters. You are the people out there that are going to make a difference. You're the people who are going to employ people. You're the people who are going to open up the doors to new opportunities, new products, new services. You are the innovators. That's why you're here, right? As a business owner, you are so much better equipped to make change in this world, and certainly make change in your local economies. If there's one parting thing that I would like to share with everybody, and I've been doing this on every call that I've been on, is once a day, if you can reach out to just one person, a friend, a colleague, an associate, an alumni, a customer, just reach out to one person on Facebook or Messenger and just say, hey, how you doing? Are you okay? Let's have a positive conversation, or let's talk about the things that we're grateful for and thankful for. Give people an optimistic conversation. If you just did that to one person per day, that's going to change you. That's going to certainly help other people who need to be connected, who need your support, and they need to know that you're out there. So if you can do that one thing of just connecting and saying hi and saying, hey, are you okay? Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the things that we're thankful for or grateful for. Have a bit of an optimistic or a positive talk, and have that impact on somebody else's life and your own life. That's going to make a huge difference to how we feel. Right now, we're under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and so it's just nice to be kind out there. So if there was one thing you can do that's going to make a difference, is just be kind to one person, reach out, say hi, reach out and say, hey, just be thankful. I hope that makes a difference to as many people as possible. But I'm doing it every day, reaching out to friends and associates, colleagues, family, just once a day, saying, hey, how you doing? Let's have a positive conversation. Because people need optimism right now. They need positivity and optimism, not overzealous optimism. They just need to know that you're okay. We just got to get back to being okay, right? Happy is great, but being okay is what we need right now. And so people need to know that you're there, and you need to know that they're okay too. So if you can reach out to one person, say hi, have a bit of an optimistic conversation, that's going to change you, and it's certainly going to help others around you as well. So Cody, man, thank you for having me here. I really appreciate that. I hope this has been helpful and useful to your audience. Happy to come back anytime to answer questions in the future.
I would certainly love to have you back. I'd love to highlight you any chance that I get. You've brought so much value to myself, my business, and our clients. So thank you again, John. Really appreciate it. Anybody that has questions, feel free to comment them down below. John is actually in this group with us, so he can respond back to those as he gets the first chance. I know it's still really early over there in Australia for you, but we appreciate you jumping up at
5:30 a.m.
jumping up at 3:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time you woke up, but I'm sure it's ridiculous.
Yeah, about 3 o'clock.
Just to be here and provide this value to the group, man. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate being on. I look forward to catching up, man, in the real world one day. Right now, I'm just doing virtual fist bumps at the moment. Virtual fist bumps at the moment, but it'd be great to catch up in Dallas, man. So I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Local Warriors, all of you guys listening to this and watching this, I hope you found great value from this. And I'm happy to answer any questions as well if John can't. But we're going to end this live here, and he will definitely be back to provide some more value for you guys. So thanks again, John.
Thank you, man.
Got it.
Hey, man.
Dude, that was so fire, bro.